The BMW X2. It's always been a bit of a weird one to place in the BMW family. In fact, manufacturers like Audi with the Audi Q2 have now ditched their small crossover, favouring the larger cars, especially when going electric. In fact, BMW only sold 24,000 of the BMW X2s in their previous generation, but they're not ready to give up. And maybe the ditching of the Q2 have shown BMW that perhaps there's extra space in the market. This is the latest generation of BMW X2, but it's now fully electric. This is the BMW iX2. Hi guys, Tish here and welcome back to my channel Auto Social UK. Today I'm going to be taking a look at this latest generation of BMW X2, checking out the exterior styling, the changes and the tech, and also telling you all the facts and figures that you need to know about this electric model. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching, and if you like new car reviews and car content, then hit the subscribe button. Well, it's like BMW woke up and they said, how can we cause some controversy today? And so the iX2 was born. It's very controversial in its styling. Some things I like, some things I don't like. Now we've gotten very used to coupe SUVs, and this is kind of a coupe version of the X1, but BMW have assured us that it has a completely different personality and it's going for a completely different target audience. So not like Volkswagen with the ID4 and ID5, this is going to be two separate audiences, or that's what they say anyway. Now, things I don't mind. You know, I really have gotten used to this front grille. It really has grown on me, and although I don't like it as much in the electric models, I've gotten used to that kind of styling around the front. What I'm not used to yet is that grille underneath. It's almost like they built the car first with the big nose and then thought, no, that's not going to work, and had to find something else to go at the bottom. And it doesn't quite connect with the rest of the car. I understand that they've tried to build something which looks super sporty, and that's what's developed this kind of gloss black grille and diffuser. But for me personally, I don't really like it. You've got new headlamps, which are in those two formations that you get from BMW, and you've got those flashes of blue so that you know that this is the electric model. If you go for one of the non-electric models, then they change to red. The alloy wheels in BMWs, personally, I'm here for them. I really like them. I know they're probably a bit much, and you're going to be paying a lot of money if you want the really fancy styles. But I think they work really well, and especially tied together with this more performance-styled car, they look pretty good. You've also got those red brake calipers that let you know that there is a little bit of power behind the styling. So I'm not going to say no to a little bit of extra boot storage, but hopefully we're going to find some additional storage under here as well. Okay, we have a cover. Yeah, so it looks like this is one of the issues when it comes to focusing on building a car which is both ICE and electric. The lovely additional features that you get of additional storage where you would once have an engine isn't really an option. That's a bit disappointing. Credit where credit's due, BMW wanted to make the X2 look far more aggressive than the outgoing model. The outgoing model was very blobby, very soft. This is far more aggressive, much sharper in its design. You've got that really aggressive bottom gloss black diffuser, even in this electric form. You've also got this new two-part spoiler, which is slightly controversial, and actually I quite like the lights. They almost to me look like Lego slotted into the car. I quite like those, a bit quirky. I'm really pleased that they've done away with that funny BMW badge that used to sit on the rear quarter. It's now flowing, much more cohesive, it's very nice. But the BMW X2, it's fallen to the curse. The curse of the rear wiper. it no longer has a rear wiper. Of course, you've now got a much more raked rear windscreen, so apparently you don't need it. But we all know that's lies. We all know that on our very, very dirty British roads, you're going to need a rear wiper. So that's a shame, but let's face it, BMW aren't the only ones at it. Everybody's at it. Now, inside the boot, very strangely, you will actually find more boot space in this coupe X2 than you'll find in the X1. Now, moving on to the interior, BMW have got to be applauded in this area. Whilst many other premium manufacturers have chosen the move to electric to go more stripped back, more basic, more boring when it comes to their interiors, BMW are not following suit. Certainly not with the iX, and also not with this, the new iX2. It still feels really plush and BMW quality in here. I love this contrasting interior, don't you? This white and grey with the contrasting orange stitching. It feels very sporty, but it's just a bit of fun. It's not your everyday mundane black interior. It's got something a little bit interesting about it. And I also like the mix of materials. You've got leather all the way across the dashboard with the contrasting stitching, and then you've got this kind of hexagonal textured on top of the dash. I love that. And you've got some lovely chrome, which isn't that sticky chrome, not that chrome that gets loads of prints all over it. You've got lovely heavy weighted air vents, and then you've got this textured chrome underneath as well. This doesn't feel quite as good quality, but it also doesn't look like it would scratch, and to me that's more important. Now, I would suppose when it comes to the iX2, talking about electric vehicles, I'd say that where it misses out is storage opportunities. Unlike something like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, it hasn't got huge amounts of storage on the interior. This is more of a classically driver-focused vehicle rather than focusing on electric, although I guess that's what they would tell you because it's based on an ICE platform, isn't it? So of course this is all here because it would usually have a transmission tunnel in it. So that's a little bit of a shame, but it does mean that you do get nice driver-focused features, which includes this lovely armrest, which weirdly opens that way, and quite honestly, I don't know what would fit in there. It's absolutely minuscule. I'm not even sure the BMW key would fit in there. It's such a chunky key. No. Oh, I mean, you've either got a very big key or a very small storage compartment if you can't fit a key in it. And then underneath you have got a bit of extra storage, but as I said, not lots, so you can't put a handbag in it like you can in some other electric cars. Up the front, you have got a very nice bit of wireless charging, which pops in here, and I really like this. You can kind of put this little, it's almost like it's going on a roller coaster. You've got this little strap that goes across the middle that holds it into place. A couple of cup holders, the usual things like USB-C chargers, very chunky steering wheel, very, very chunky steering wheel. I'm getting used to this. Not sure how I feel about it. It's quite big, but I love this kind of titanium reinforced strap in the middle. That feels nice. And you've got a wonderful boost button, which I'll talk about a bit more when I drive it. The doors are very nice as well. You've got that soft leather with contrasting orange. You've got these really lovely chrome door handles. Everything feels really solid, really weighty. You've got that nice clang when you shut it. And then we've got the infotainment system. So let's just talk about this for a second. The iX2's infotainment system offers a ton of features that should help enhance your experience. They've obviously been keeping an eye on the likes of Tesla. It includes convenient features like SatNav, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, allowing you to seamlessly connect your device. But you can also enjoy entertainment on the go, with the option to play arcade games and stream videos. Overall, it's highly responsive, and alongside the screen, you'll find a row of touch-sensitive shortcut keys, providing easy access to essential functions without hassle. The graphics on the iX2's infotainment system are impressively sharp, and the icons on the screen are slightly larger than those in the Volvo C40, making them easier to interact with while driving. So here we have it, rear space. Here we have it, rear space. It's very low. The roofline is super low, so getting in, you're gonna have to be a bit careful not to clonk your head. And once you are in, you've got to hope you're not over 6 foot, because if you are, your head's going to be brushing on the ceiling. Although nobody sits like this, do they? They sit like this. And actually, once you're relaxed, it's not too bad. There's a couple more inches. I'm 5'5", so you could probably just about fit someone 6 foot in the back here. Legroom's fine. Legroom's actually very good. This is a longer car, so that's probably why. But overall, headroom not great. Legroom probably better than I was expecting. And also, these seats, they do actually recline and sit upright. So you can have more space in the boot, or you can have a more reclined position, which is nice. You've got pull-out armrest, a couple of cup holders. You've also got 2 ISOFIX fitment sections. You've got kind of plastic backs to these seats, which in hindsight is actually more practical because you can wipe those clean. 2 USB-C chargers in the back here. What about the middle seat? It's not too bad. Headroom's not really any much worse in the back, in the middle really. And you've actually got somewhere to put your feet. They've kind of grooved out that centre console so that you don't have to be fighting legroom with people beside you. And there is a flat floor, which I wasn't expecting, because actually in the new Mini Countryman and also the ix2, you have got a little hump in the floor. So I'm surprised to see that there's a flat floor, but obviously that's a positive, because sometimes that's where you lose out with electric vehicles which have come over from ICE vehicles. And the floor's quite high as well, I think because it's quite a low roof line and then you've got quite a high floor, so your knees do sit up quite high. But really, I don't think it's that badly impacted. If you're only putting children in the back, I can't see you having too much of an issue.
There's actually only one battery size and trim level for the ix2, so the only decision you need to make is how powerful you want it to be. The eDrive 20, which is the entry-level option, has 201 brake horsepower and is front-wheel drive. It can go from 0 to 62 in just 8.6 seconds. Then there's the xDrive 30. This has 308 brake horsepower and is equipped with four-wheel drive, allowing it to reach 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 5.6 seconds. I've personally been driving the xDrive 30 model, and I must say the acceleration is impressive. Regardless of the model that you choose, both the eDrive 20 and xDrive 30 come with a 64.8 kWh battery. The eDrive 20 has an official range of up to 283 miles, while the xDrive 30 is not far behind with an official range of 267.
This point is going to sound like a negative, but please bear with me on this one. One of my favourite things about BMW electric vehicles is they've created vehicles which drive just like combustion models. And I'm not talking about a lack of electric qualities, because this car has all the electric qualities we've come to expect. For instance, it's got brake regeneration, which when you're in B mode will bring you down to a complete stop. And it's also got instant power as well. So it's got all of the wonderful things which we know and love about electric vehicles, but it has the driving engagement of an ICE vehicle, and that's not easy to do. And in fact, a lot of this car's competitors have not done a very good job of doing that. They're kind of soulless. But I think BMW have been able to inject their soul into their cars. Sure, my one complaint is the steering is a little bit light, and I would have loved to have had a slightly heavier steering wheel. Even when you're in sport modes, it's still very, very light. But regardless of that, it's got pin-sharp handling. It handles brilliantly. It's very engaging to drive. You've got a slightly firmer setup on the suspension, which means you feel connected with the road. Although I'm quite impressed, it's not quite as hard as I was expecting. I've also tested the Mini Countryman today, and the Countryman felt stiffer than this. This soaks up bumps in the road as well, especially when we're currently in some not very favourable roads around the Cotswolds. But also, when it comes to that DNA coming from BMWs, I also think they've done a good job in creating a car which is quite fun as well. So if you go for the four-wheel drive model, you get a motor at the front and a motor at the rear, but when you're driving spiritedly in a sport mode, it's rear-wheel drive bias. So that means if you're driving a little bit spiritedly around the back roads, you can actually get a bit of kick off of the back end. And I know that sounds ludicrous, and why would anyone want to do that? And if you're a sensible family car buyer that's watching this, you're probably thinking, what is she going on about? Why does anybody want to be sliding around an SUV? And that's true. But speak to any BMW enthusiast and they'll tell you that those are some of the best things about their ICE rear-wheel drive vehicles, because they're fun to drive, they've got a little bit of play in them, and they've actually managed to inject that into this car. Now, don't start worrying that they've made this car ludicrous, and if you're buying it to be a family car driver, that you're going to be putting your family in danger, because you really won't be. It's a very capable car, it does have that four-wheel drive system, but if you want to have a little bit of play and you want to drive it in a way that you would drive an ICE BMW around the back roads, perhaps if you're on your own, then this will actually do it.
When you're on an exciting road, the ix2 performs well. The steering is precise and nicely balanced, making it easy to control the car exactly where you want it to go. This more powerful model offers plenty of punch, perfect for British B roads. If you push it a bit too far, the rear motor steps in to keep you in line. The different driver modes may have odd names and sounds to accompany them, but the sport mode does exactly what you'd expect. It enhances the throttle response and adds more weight to the steering without fundamentally changing the car's character. The ix2 is actually a bit pricier than the ix1, and that's because the ix1 comes in less well-equipped trims. The entry-level ix2 eDrive 20 comes in at just over £50,000. It's about the same as the equivalent Audi Q4 Sportback. If you go for the Volvo C40 in the entry-level core trim, then it's slightly cheaper than both. If you're looking at going for the higher end option, the xDrive 30 will set you back a further £6,000.
So whether you think this is an ugly duckling or a beautiful swan, BMW have left it up to you to decide. They haven't built this car for everyone. They've built this car for people who want an SUV with sporty styling. Sure, it's going to divide opinions, but what I've learned is some of the best BMWs do exactly that. Personally, for me, I would be opting for the iX1. The practicality of the headroom in the back just makes a bit more sense, and actually, I've grown to quite like the styling of that car. But let me know. Would you go for the iX1 or the iX2, or perhaps you wouldn't go for either and there's another competitor that you've got your eye on? Let me know which one in the comments down below. I also need your help. If there's any more electric cars or new cars that you want me to review, let me know which ones you want to see on the channel down below. I really hope you've enjoyed this video today, guys. If you have, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me and everyone else on this channel, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Until next time, see you later.